I was tired of who I was. I was tired of being miserable inside. I was tired of hating and being full of bitterness, and that load was just huge, and there was so much of it inside of me that I didn't even realize it, that garbage that was there. I didn't know how to change it. I'd just pretty much given up on being able to change it. I'd just come to terms that this is who I am, this is what I am, this is what I'm full of, and it's never going to change. I came from a good family, nice home, money, politically connected. It just seemed like I had it all. I was going to school, headed into the medical profession. But inside was where the problem was, because I felt hopeless, useless. I didn't know how to cope with life. I struggled with a lot of issues of guilt and shame, a lot of hate and bitterness. I used a lot of drugs. I was violent. I didn't really like myself or anybody else. I tried various methods as far as counseling, self-help books, different religions, some of the Eastern philosophies, to change. But they were all external, and that facade or that mask would only last a short time, and I'd be back to my old lifestyle.
Kairos is a volunteer ministry group of phenomenal folks who are non-denominational, who volunteer their time to go into our correctional facilities to really make a difference in the lives of our inmates. And again, I can't say enough about these folks. Staff at the facilities that have conducted the Kairos weekends have seen a change in those inmates who have taken this message to heart. They've seen a calming effect. They've seen a different inmate. How this inmate used to handle situations, how they used to communicate, and what they did. They've seen a peace come over some of these people. They've seen a different interaction with others. They've seen like a burden, if you will, lifted off of people's shoulders. Everybody talks about the cookies, and I guess I just see it amazing, again, as far as a group of volunteers who have such a strong belief that prepare these cookies, that go in to conduct these weekend, Kairos weekends. I guess I really didn't quite realize how many cookies were being baked and distributed, and then when you talk to the inmates, they love the cookies. It's been really just so amazing and so neat to see and to hear some of the stories where some of these inmates have gone and shared these cookies with who would be considered bitter enemies, people they didn't get along with, that they just stayed away from, and just what a difference that's made. So again, it's just been phenomenal.
I was privileged to be able to go to the first Kairos in the state of West Virginia. There were 24 of us that went, and none of us really knew what it was or had any idea what to expect. We were just basically told, give it a try, be open-minded, you'll enjoy it. And that's all I knew. And I was thinking, well, that's something different. I'll give it a try. And it was amazing to me. I mean, I walked in there, we're sitting in the gym, the sunlight's coming through the windows up there, just kind of shining down. It's in April, and it's kind of warm, and there's all these outside people there, and I'm just kind of thinking, man, this is weird. These people are nice. What's wrong with them? Probably the most amazing thing about that Kairos was the love of God that pierced my heart. I mean, I knew God, but I'd never really experienced Him like that in my life. I had a co-defendant at Mount Olive, and on that Saturday, they said, you gotta forgive. Take this bag of cookies to the one you need to forgive the most. And I was thinking, I knew immediately who that was this co-defendant of mine, because I was imprisoned behind him. If it wouldn't have been for him, we wouldn't have been caught. But yet, looking back on that now, it's by the grace of God. because I learned. I'd do something that was impossible for me. God did what was impossible for me by being able to forgive him. But I had this bag of cookies, and I'm looking at it. I remember talking to some of the outside guys from Kairos, and I was thinking, man, I can't forgive this guy. There's no way possible I can forgive him. I remember having some of them pray with me, and we prayed, and I stuck my head out the gym door and looked around the corner and thinking, well, he ain't there. And I remember looking up, thinking, all right, God, if you'll put him directly in my path, I'll forgive him. If you don't, I won't. I remember telling God that before I walked out that gym door that night. And I went straight up the middle of the yard because I knew my co-defendant wouldn't be anywhere in that path or in front of my unit that I lived on, because he and I hadn't spoken in several years since the day that I had gotten to prison, because they stuck us in a cell together. And he asked me, he said, Matt, are you going to kill me? And I told him, no, not today. But we're both going to be here a while, so maybe later. And those were the only words that we had spoken until this day with these cookies. So I get right up in front of my unit. I haven't seen him. I'm thinking, man, I made it. I can get in there and I don't have to forgive this guy. I was just so amazed, thinking, I got it now. And I looked over and he was standing in front of my unit by himself. So I stopped. He hadn't seen me yet, and I looked up and I said, God, you did your part, now I got to do mine. So I walked over to him. I said, hey, I need to talk to you. His eyes got big like saucers, because I guess he figured that it was time for me to do him in or attack him or something. And I said, no, I really need to talk to you. I'm here to forgive you. And he looked at me like I'd done lost my mind, like I was crazy. I said, you see this bag of cookies? I said, these are a sign between me and you that I'm forgiving you, that it's water under the bridge, that it's over between us. He said, man, I can't take him cookies. I said, take the cookies. He said, no. I said, take the cookies. He took the cookies. I had to give him them cookies. I didn't care what it took. I had to give him them cookies. And I had to forgive him, but it just released me from my own pain and my own bitterness and my own rage and my own hate for him that had consumed me for so many years, because I blamed him for my mom's death and for being incarcerated, for a lot of problems that I had in life that were internal, that were mental, that were problems of my heart that I couldn't change. But Kairos released me from that.
I'm a believer in Kairos. I'm a believer in the faith-based community. And hopefully, as we partner and work hand in hand, we're certainly going to make a difference with this correctional environment, with working towards successful reentry of offenders into society, and hopefully curbing the prison population growth that we're seeing in this state. I can't thank them enough.
To experience that love that is just amazing. And to see people that actually cared about me, that's the greatest experience I've ever had. And not only for me, but I've heard that from so many other guys. Guys that have done 15, 20, 30, 40 years in prison, that have went through Kairos and said they've never experienced anything like that in their lives. It is the most awesome thing. It's the greatest experience they could have. And there's no way that you could walk away from that and not know that God is real and that He cares and that He gives us a choice. He gave me a choice. He did His part. He placed that man in front of me. I did what I had to do, and that was forgive him. I didn't forgive him for him. I forgave him for me, to release me from what was inside of me. And He did. He broke those chains and that bondage. Life is great today. I mean, I come out here, I can get up early in the morning, I can read my Bible, I can pray, I can talk to God. I can go out and work. I actually have a work ethic now that I didn't have before. I like to work. I like to pray. I like to read. I like to stand and look out the window and see the sun come up. Things that I used to take for granted, or just look up at the stars, because I didn't even see them before. If I did, I didn't notice them. Being able just to walk through the house and feel the soft carpet and sleep in a soft bed. But most importantly, it's about relationships with God and with other people. I can be nice to people today. I don't hate anybody today. I can enjoy life. I can talk to people and actually have decent conversations without having to curse or carry on or be profane or perverse. And that stuff doesn't even enter my head anymore, Because it's what God has done in my life. It's what Jesus Christ, how He's cleaned me from the inside out. And Kairos has played a tremendous part of that.